Is this the catchiest song that John Sykes ever wrote? And no, it's not Still of the Night, it's not Cold Sweat either. This one came a few years later, a track that did get some spins on American radio, a video on MTV, and then pretty much disappeared, except in Japan, where the album it came from went top 10. I'm Paul Stevenson, and this is Rock Under the Radar, the series where we dig into deep cuts, forgotten singles, and songs that deserve a bit more love. And today we're talking about John Sykes, the incredible guitarist, and a song from Blue Murder's second album, Nothin But Trouble. We're looking at the track, We All Fall Down. Now, before we go any further, I've got to say this because people always ask in the comments. No, I can't play the full song here. The YouTube copyright AI thingy system is brutal right now. Just check out recent videos from the likes of Rick Beato for more info. The 3 strikes and your channel is gone thing, I'd quite like to keep mine. So this isn't a video of the song, it's a video about the song. You'll hear short clips where I can fit them in, and I'll leave a link below if you want to hear the full thing for yourself. Right, let's rewind a bit. By 1993, John Sykes had already lived about 4 musical lives. He'd started out in Tigers of Pantang, the part of the new wave of British heavy metal. Then he joined Thin Lizzy, playing on their final album, Thunder and Lightning. Controversial statement perhaps, but that's my favourite Thin Lizzy record. Next up for him was Whitesnake, where he went on to co-write pretty much the whole album that made Coverdale a star in the US. He was the sound of that Whitesnake 1987 album. And then, well, he was sacked before that record even hit the shelves. So Sykes decided to go alone. He formed Blue Murder, an incredible powerhouse trio with Tony Franklin on bass and Carmine Appice on drums. And as a little aside, I interviewed Carmine and we spoke about Blue Murder. And here's a golden short clip from that interview.
I came back to the studio with all these strippers and shit, nothing was going on but partying at the time, and guys and girls, and it was this big party, and I was like, I wasn't straight, let's put it that way. So John said, go on, Carm, we'll put the drums on Jelly Roll. I go, nah, man, I'm too fucked up, just good. I said, all right, so I went in, and I played it. I said, I'll do it again tomorrow. Next day I come in, I listen to it, I said, wow, that sounds great, so we kept it.
You can see the full video by clicking on the link at the end of this video, so stick around because you have to check it out. Anyway, their debut in 1989 was filled with big riffs, glossy production from Bob Rock, and that unmistakable Sykes tone, equal parts melody and muscle, but the timing couldn't have been worse. By the time it came out, hard rock was starting to fall out of fashion, and while the album is now considered a bit of a cult classic, sales were disappointing. Sykes took it personally. He retreated out of the spotlight, and Blue Murder went quiet for a few years. Eventually, he decided to try again, but by then things had changed. Carmine Appice and Tony Franklin had both grown frustrated and moved on, so Sykes built a new band around himself with Marco Mendoza on bass, Tommy Osteen on drums, and there was Nick Green on keyboards, although Tony and Carmine did come back in to record certain parts on certain tracks. Sykes recorded the whole second album in his home studio in Los Angeles, producing it himself, and the album was Nothin But Trouble, released in August 1993. And it's a bit of a fascinating one because it's caught between two worlds. It's still got that late 80s hard rock gloss, but you can hear Sykes reaching for something catchier, more radio friendly. And he admitted years later that he'd been persuaded to go for radio airplay, which in the middle of the grunge explosion was probably a death sentence. Bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, they were everywhere, and the days of big hair, big guitars, and probably big choruses were suddenly over. And yet, track 1 on that record, We All Fall Down, it's an absolute belter. And I'd love to hear your take on this song and this incredible musician as well. Let's celebrate John Sykes. Were you aware of this song? Did you buy the album at the time? What's your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I think We All Fall Down is melodic, punchy, and it's got one of the most infectious choruses that Sykes ever wrote. Lyrically, it's about losing yourself, drug abuse, and losing sight of one's identity, as Sykes later said. But the delivery doesn't feel preachy. I love the line, "And the fools think they're wise," a line that very much still holds true today. The song itself is uplifting, defiant, and anthemic. It's the kind of song that would have been a hit in 1987 if it had arrived 6 years earlier. You can tell from the first few bars that Sykes had melody on his mind. The guitar tone still has his signature bite, thick, warm, full of sustain, and Sykes' own voice, well, I think he was an underrated singer. And that chorus, it's pure hook. It's like he took all his Whitesnake polish and compressed it into one huge melodic line. The guitar solo, it's okay. It's not one of his best, if I'm being honest. It doesn't stick in the memory as well as others, but it has all his hallmarks. You can tell it's him hearing it in isolation. It's why, even in the age of shred, Sykes' playing stood out. He had a feel, a sound to his playing, didn't he? So when Nothin But Trouble came out, the reviews were okay. Critics said it was a strong album, old-fashioned hard rock. Being nice, I guess. It's not a classic album by any stretch, and commercially, it tanked. Well, outside of Japan, where it hit number 6, the album everywhere else was barely registering. In America, We All Fall Down did sneak into the album rock tracks chart, I think it's called, but that was it. In the UK, nothing, no chart entry, no Top of the Pops, no radio push, and that's a shame because We All Fall Down has all the right ingredients: great production, catchy melody, and a hook that sticks with you. Okay, the subject matter might not have been radio friendly, but it's a great song. But again, it was 1993 and all the record companies were chasing the next Nirvana, and another hard rock holdout from the 80s was not exactly on their list. Unsurprisingly, Sykes himself later said, "The label didn't do anything for me." Today, Blue Murder's second album has almost faded from memory. Most fans of John Sykes know the debut, the one with Valley of Kings and Jelly Roll on it, but Nothin But Trouble, that's the forgotten one. And that's why I've chosen to highlight this great track, We All Fall Down. It does have about 500,000 plays on Spotify, which is decent, but I'd say it's definitely under the radar for its quality. So, go and do it. Have a listen to We All Fall Down. I think it still sounds great. It's got that classic hard rock energy and a catchy as hell chorus as well. And that's why I love it. It sticks with you. But what do you think? Is We All Fall Down John Sykes' catchiest song? Or do you think something from Blue Murder's debut, Thin Lizzy's Thunder and Lightning, or Whitesnake's 1987 deserves that crown? Let me know. And if you're new here, hit subscribe for more deep dives like this, forgotten singles, lost classics, and exclusive interviews from the rock legends themselves.